The Phillies have made their first decision on players on their roster today as Austin Hayes was non-tendered. The former All-Star was acquired at the trade deadline from the Baltimore Orioles for Sir Anthony Dominguez and Christian Pache. At the time, it felt like a good move. It was a bat. It wasn't necessarily the big bat that I think everybody wanted, but it was a bat and it was a platoon option for a team at the time who really needed another right-handed bat in their outfield. They weren't getting a ton of production from Brandon Marsh, especially against left-handed pitching, and Johan Rojas wasn't giving them much either in center field. So they went and got Hayes, and it didn't work out. He suffered through a hamstring injury, a kidney injury, and was basically a non-factor for the Phillies since the trade deadline. So this today is from John Heyman that Austin Hayes was informed he is being non-tendered by the Phillies. At only 29, Hayes suffered through a severe kidney infection after being traded to Philly, only a year removed from an All-Star and Gold Glove finalist season. He'll be an interesting free agent. And it says a lot because this was a move at the time that I think the Phillies were excited about. I was excited about it as well. It, once again, was not the huge bat that everybody wanted, but it was a move that the Phillies needed to do at a time. And for two guys that weren't really giving you much anymore at the time of the 2024 season. So this is from Dave Dombrowski. This was right after the season. He said, "We did not see a good version of Austin Hayes from the day we got him. Unfortunately, I don't really think that is a shock to anybody." He said he was hurt. He got a kidney infection right away. We've seen Austin Hayes play plenty. We liked him a great deal, and we're absolutely thrilled that we got him, but we never saw the guy that we really have seen in the past. And of course, early in the year, we didn't see him a lot last year because he still wasn't playing on a full-time basis. We still have to evaluate where all that falls going forward. And as you can see, they did evaluate that. This is Austin Hayes. This was his full season with a 3-on-3 on-base percentage, 5 home runs, 20 runs batted in, 9 walks, and 235 at-bats, 60 hits, 2 stolen bases, and 59 strikeouts. That was total on the season. But if you look at his full Philly stats, 256 hitter with a 672 OPS. He hit just 2 homers, 6 RBIs, 20 hits, 19 strikeouts. And one of the craziest stats about Hayes is he didn't walk a single time. Not a single walk drawn in a Phillies uniform. So now Hayes does leave and he will enter free agency. And it's really not a surprise. Hayes was projected by MLB Trade Rumors to get $6.4 million in arbitration. I don't think that's a price the Phillies wanted to pay for this caliber of player. We've sort of know at this point that the Phillies are looking to upgrade their outfield. There's a lot of names out there. Obviously, the top one being Juan Soto, but there are more options. Anthony Santander, Teoscar Hernandez, Jurickson Profar, and of course, those other ton of middle-of-the-pack guys. So this is what I'll say. I think Austin Hayes will definitely get a shot. He is once again removed a year and a half from an all-star season in where he was a Gold Glove finalist out in the outfield. But this is just something that the Phillies couldn't really bring back. I don't think this was ever a move that was going to happen. I think it was too much money. And I think now the Phillies have a decision to make as far as where they want to go. And as far as the sort of non-tender deadline, that is tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. So the Phillies now have 7 guys that they need to make a decision on. That is Alec Bohm, Bryson Stott, Ranger Suarez, Brandon Marsh, Edmundo Sosa, Jose Ruiz, and Garrett Stubbs. I will say this. The first 6 guys that I named, those guys I believe will all get a contract. Those are guys that are all 6 are very valuable pieces. Garrett Stubbs is sort of the outlier. I think there's an argument for both sides, right? Garrett Stubbs is not going to make a ton of money. That is sort of the bottom line of this whole debate right now. Garrett Stubbs, can't imagine he'll make over $1 million next year, but the Phillies do have a decision to make if they want to bring him back or let him elect free agency. Garrett Stubbs, as we've seen, is not the greatest catcher. He had a pretty good year his first year with the Phillies as the backup, but the last 2, there was really no offensive production. It's been pretty brutal from Stubbs as far as the offensive side of things. But on the flip side, Stubbs has the experience. Stubbs knows the pitchers. He's a very popular guy in the clubhouse. And I think the biggest key here for the Phillies is that he has one more minor league option remaining. Meaning, and this is where I think the Phillies will probably go. The Phillies could give Stubbs a contract tonight and say, hey, it's not going to be a ton of money, but if you accept this, you come back, you try and win a job in camp. If not, the Phillies could option him down to the minor leagues, which would mean, as of right now, that Rafael Marchand would probably be the backup catcher next season. And as far as Stubbs, I don't know how Stubbs would love this. I can't imagine he would take it in a great way, but I can't imagine Stubbs would be a backup on many other teams. Stubbs is now sort of a guy that I think teams are looking for a little more offense from the backup. And Stubbs, as we know, isn't really giving that to the Phillies right now. But as far as that, I think tonight there are 6 that I believe once again will get a contract, and that is Bohm, Suarez, Sosa, Marsh, Stott, and then Jose Ruiz as the 6th. But Stubbs is really the outlier there once again. But yeah, it's definitely unfortunate for Austin Hayes because this is a guy who, at the time, once again, this move was good in my opinion. I thought this move would work. I thought it was going to be a good one for the Phillies, but it just didn't work out. He didn't show a ton of production in the games that he was healthy. I will say once again, as a platoon bat, when this move was made, this was a good move. He was a .255 hitter, but he was hitting over 300 against left-handed pitching this season before the Phillies acquired him. This was really, the whole time, this was the Brandon Marsh platoon, right? We know Brandon Marsh strikes out at over a 45% clip against left-handed pitching, and this was really the move that the Phillies should have been all over, and they were. And it was a great move at the time, but it didn't work out. Once again, he went through the kidney stuff and the hamstring stuff, and he got his chance in the playoffs, and it really just didn't work out. So now the Phillies have some moves to make. They're pretty lacking on outfield depth now that Hayes is gone. They have Brandon Marsh, Johan Rojas, Nick Castellanos, and Weston Wilson, and that is it. They have 4 outfielders basically right now. And 2 of them, I would even say 3 of them, are kind of some question marks right now. You don't know 100% the future for Brandon Marsh. Johan Rojas, you love the glove, but you don't love the bat. Weston Wilson, I don't think anybody wants him to be the starting left fielder next year. As great as he is, maybe off the bench, and his production that he's shown down in AAA. And then you even have a guy in Nick Castellanos who has been sort of shopped around in some trade rumors. So the Phillies have a lot of work to do on this outfield right now. There is a lot of pieces to be moved, and once again, these Juan Soto rumors can fill left field, and that would be absolutely fantastic. But the Phillies have more than just one move to make. They need to find some depth in free agency. They need to see what they have down in the minors, and they need to establish this offense because we've seen last year this offense can go flat and this offense can swing at so many pitches out of the zone, and the plate discipline is not there. And they need to find the guys that can do that, especially off the bench. So once again, tonight, I do believe 6 players will be offered a contract. Once again, Bryson Stott, Alec Bohm, Ranger Suarez, Edmundo Sosa, Brandon Marsh, and Jose Ruiz. Those 6 guys, I do believe, will probably be offered a contract tonight. And then Garrett Stubbs will most likely be that outlier. So yeah, as far as that, the Austin Hayes era is over. If anybody has any Austin Hayes jerseys out there, I will say RIP to those. I can't imagine there's many. But yeah, once again, this has been Phillies Digest. My name is Luke Arcaini, and for all your Phillies needs, you can stick around right on the channel, and I will talk to you next time.